in an extremely inconsistent manner that only RuPaul's Drag Race manages to do. Some Drag Race All-Star seasons have a returning queen format, and some don't. So today we are going to attempt to discern who might return if there was a returning queen format. Without further ado, let's jump into this discussion.
So starting out with season 1, which was a season that was really lip sync heavy. This was a group that were well known for their lip syncing abilities, and I feel like it would have been really cool if this had been the season that kicked off a lip sync Lollapalooza. So we are going to go on a limb and really make a big swing and say that this season is going to have a theoretical Lollapalooza. The twist is that there will be a top 2, and whoever is that top 2 will be rejoining the competition as a team. So they will not be lip syncing as pairs this time. So we have Mimi I'm First, Pandora Box, Nina Flowers, Tammy Brown, Manila Luzon, Latrice Royale, Yara Sofia, and Alexis Mateo. Each contestant will lip sync against their former partner in order to return, and then will face off against the others in round 2. So starting out with Pandora versus Mimi, I think it's very, very clear that production would not want Mimi M First to be there, so Pandora is going to get scooted through this lip sync. Nina Flowers will beat Tammy Brown, as I just don't see a reality where Tammy would care enough to want to stay in the competition, and I really do feel like Nina would have a lot to prove and would really want to stay. Then we move on to La Trilla, where I think this could go either way. I don't know if this was necessarily the era where they were really Team Manila. I think that really was more evident in later seasons. They were very interested in Latrice Royale. This was really where people were starting to pay attention to her, and I think they wanted to capitalize off of her presence on the show. So I think Latrice would beat Manila in a lip sync. Then we move on to Yarlexis, where I really think that Alexis would beat Yara. She's already beaten her once before, and in this particular season, Yara was the reason why they got eliminated in the first place. So I see production awarding Alexis with a lip sync win and allowing her to move on to the next round. So then we get to round 2, where it is Nina versus Pandora. And I think this is kind of a no-brainer that Nina would beat Pandora in a lip sync. Pandora is a little more of a camp style, where Nina is a little more of embodying of emotions. Nina would embody whatever the song was and beat Pandora. And then we have Alexis versus Latrice, and this could go a lot of different ways. We have a scenario where they really want to push Latrice through because she's great entertainment. But we also have a scenario where Alexis is a really good lip syncer. We've seen time and time and time again that Alexis just wins and stays winning in her lip syncs. Same with Latrice, so it really comes down to the song choice. Either way, the team would be Nina and Alexis or Nina and Latrice. I think if we're looking at a La Nina situation, I feel like they would not do very well in the superhero challenge and would probably be eliminated the following week. Whereas I feel like if this was a Team Nexus, perhaps, they could win that superhero challenge. I think Latrice was really kind of unfocused this season, and so I just don't see her doing well in a future episode, where I feel like both Alexis and Nina were really focused and would do quite well. So I'm inclined to believe this could go either way in this reality. My preference would be Alexis beating Latrice. Next up is All Stars 5, which has a cast that would not perform very well in a girl group style return challenge. A lip sync challenge wouldn't really be highly entertaining with this group. I think they would all get steamrolled by the remaining contenders in the competition. This particular season of All Stars does, however, lack a makeover challenge, so we are going to make the return format that makeover style, where the eliminated queens will choose their partner and will get made over by them, and whoever wins the makeover gets to bring their partner into the competition with them. So we go by elimination order, and India chooses Blair since she is a makeup artist, and they would theoretically do pretty well together because Blair would know how to paint the house down, and that's India's whole brand. I feel like Mayhem would probably choose Shay, knowing that she was competition in the earlier part of the season and voted for Shay to go because she saw her as competition, saw her as a way to get her out of there. I think that Mayhem would recognize this is the person who's going to get me back in here if anybody's going to. Mariah would then choose Alexis since they are friends. They did have a kind of quasi season 3 alliance, and I think they would work pretty well together. And then Angina chooses Jujubee because she was probably still mad at Ms. Cracker and didn't want to work with her, and she was the last one available, which means that Derek gets stuck with Ms. Cracker. I think based on who's performed well in previous makeovers, Alexis and Mariah would do really well because Alexis did great in her season 3 makeover. However, production really seemed to be favoring Ms. Cracker this season, despite her not doing as excellently as queens like Shay, Jujubee, and Alexis. And Derek Barry is just really excellent television, so I see this being a scenario where Derek Barry gets to return and Ms. Cracker is the winner of another challenge. And seeing Derek in that backyard barbecue ball challenge would be the most bizarre, strange thing in the whole world, and considering that it was a construction challenge, there would be hems everywhere, but I don't think it would be a well-constructed garment. And I think Derek would be out that episode for sure. Then we move on to All Stars 8, where I wonder if any of these contestants would even think about returning, especially based on the fact that it's been confirmed by everybody in that cast that the only queens that did not want to quit and walk out were Jimbo and Jessica. So I don't know if any of them would even want to still be there. So let's continue this game within a game format because I thought that was really fun for season 6, and I think it makes the most sense for this particular cast, especially considering that a lot of these girls are very good lip syncers. Based on the eliminations of this season, Monica very easily beats Naysha. Monica is a pretty decent lip syncer, and we've seen Naysha lose twice on Drag Race, and I just really don't see her doing that well in a lip sync against Monica Beverly Hills. Next up is Mrs. Kasha Davis versus Monica, and I may be a big stan of Mrs. Kasha Davis, and I may want the best for her and want to see her win this entire season, but that's unrealistic. She absolutely would get dog walked by Monica no matter what the song was. Next eliminated was Darian Lake, and I do think this is where the competition would deviate because I think that Darian is a extremely strong lip syncer and would absolutely show Monica where the door was. And then because Heidi and Closet quit the season, Darian would come out to do her lip sync and find out that she was automatically passed through to the next episode. Maybe we'd get a fun solo lip sync and we could see Darian perform a fun, upbeat number that maybe she wouldn't normally perform, but we could just see her having a good time performing for the judges. Then we have James Mansfield, who I do not see winning a lip sync against Darian Lake. I just don't see it. If you see it, I love that for you, but I don't, so Darian's moving on. Then we have Kahana Montrese, who I think this could really go either way. If they give them a sort of pop number, I think that Darian would probably be eliminated. But if this was a scenario where it was maybe a little more of an old school song, maybe even 80s, something more ballady, I could definitely see Darian winning. For production purposes, I feel like they were really pushing Kahana, so I could see her beating Darian and them giving a sort of unfair musical advantage to one or the other, Kahana being the other that I think they would give that advantage to. And then next out is Lala Ree, and I really think this could go either way. It, again, really depends on the song choice. We're gonna assume that because Lala was such good TV this season, that they're gonna give it to her, and especially knowing that Alexis was probably gonna be out next, we're gonna do a TV move and let Lala move forward in the competition. Then we get the big ultimate lip sync smackdown between Lala Ree and Alexis Michelle, who had just sent her home after telling her that she wasn't gonna do it and then kind of betraying her. And we get a really great redemption moment where Lala beats Alexis Michelle and gets to return for that makeover challenge. I could see Lala Ree winning that challenge. So then who would go home? Would she choose Jessica as well? Or would she choose a big competition like Jimbo or Candy? I could definitely see Lala winning this one. And I think it would be a really cool way of kind of end capping this season before we move on to that last big finale moment. Thank you so much for watching. I can't wait to hear your dissertations in the comments below. See you on the flip.